Man, oh man, this Epstein story just will not go away. And Donald Trump's lexicon, it just won't die. I wish he would just die. Just die. Please stop bothering me with this Epstein nonsense. You cannot have a political platform based on immigrants bad, trans people are out to get your kids, and the Democrats are all violent, evil pedophiles. And when all of this stuff comes out, expect them to turn on a dime and, just believe me. Just trust me, bro. Well, earlier today, Donald Trump is out there doing his chopper talk, as he's wont to do. And he's asked a question about Epstein. Let's see how he responds.
I know you've urged people to move on, but I'm curious, why do you think your supporters in particular have been so interested in the Epstein story and so upset about how it's been handled? Why do you think that is?
Why they would be so interested? He's dead for a long time. He was never a big factor in terms of life. I don't understand.
He was never a factor in terms of life. Yeah, man, he's fucking dead. I guess so. Jesus Christ.
And what the interest or what the fascination is, I really don't. And the
he doesn't know what the fascination is. I mean, whether it's, QAnon or conspiracy bros, they have been talking about Epstein for fucking years. And you don't know what the fascination is? Give me a break.
Information's been given. Don't forget, we went through years of the Mueller witch hunt and all of the different things, the Steele dossier, which was all fake. All that information was fake. But I don't understand why the Jeffrey Epstein case would be of interest to anybody. It's pretty boring stuff. It's sordid, but it's boring. And I don't understand why it keeps going. I think really only pretty bad people, including fake news, want to keep something like that going. But
let me look at this guy over here just chuckling his ass off. By the way, that guy right there, I believe, is his commerce secretary, and he lived next door to Jeffrey Epstein in Florida. Oh, yeah, that guy right there was his next door neighbor. He lived right down the street from Mar-a-Lago, They don't know why it's, he says it's sordid but boring. Yeah, let's see. The leader of Sex Crimes Incorporated, who knew all of these wealthy elite types, who had an island, a private island with a big mansion on it, and every room had cameras in it, filming these wealthy elites having sex with underage children. And he thinks this is boring? This is a boring story? Really?
Information, let them give it. Anything that's credible, I would say let them have it.
Okay, so now he's saying let them have it. He's going to make sure that Pam Bondi goes through it and gets rid of everything. Oh, by the way, Dan Bongino who is the deputy director of the FBI. He hasn't been to work in like 4 days now. I don't know why he's allowed to not come to work for 4 days, because he's having a tiff with Donald Trump's attorney general. It's obvious he doesn't want to be there. He would much rather go back to his real job, being a podcast bro. And, with Kash Patel and Dan Bongino heading up the FBI, they have absolutely no experience at it. Dan Bongino was a Secret Service agent fucking 15 years ago. Now he's running the largest police force in the country, him and Kash Patel. These are unserious people. And Pam Bondi, yet again, just to reiterate, Pam Bondi was the attorney general for Florida during the case, the first Jeffrey Epstein pedophile case, where he got a sweetheart deal from Alex Acosta, who was working under Pam Bondi as Attorney General for Florida in charge of Epstein's case, where he got a sweetheart deal where he got to leave jail every day to quote unquote go to work and leave jail on the weekends. So talk about a sweetheart deal. You get convicted of criminality in this country, you go to jail, you don't get to leave until your time is served. But if you're Epstein, you're wealthy, you're powerful, you get off on it. No pun intended there. Jesus Christ. But Pam Bondi, Alex Acosta, who, by the way, later became Donald Trump's labor secretary in his first term. It's all so incestuous. And this guy over here, this bald-bearded motherfucker who was just chuckling away at that silly question about Epstein and why his people would be so interested in it, he lived next door to Epstein. Anyway, earlier today, he put out a tweet. He's been trying to Truth Social his way out of this. Now he seems to be insulting his base, which is this is the first time he's ever done this. You know, normally Donald Trump is like a bull in a china shop when it comes to Democrats, but now he's always been giving his base whatever they want. I mean, they're the most coddled group of people in the country. Donald Trump gives them whatever they want. I mean, he pardoned all 1,600 of the January 6 rioters. He pardoned them all. Even the dude with the Camp Auschwitz sweatshirt on. Pardoned that guy too. But he's been notoriously giving his Republican base everything that they wanted. And now this is the first time that they want something real bad. And Donald Trump is refusing to give it to him. But this is what he had to say in his tweet. Pardon me, I'm not going to do the Trump voice, or not as much, because I blew out my voice last night at rehearsal. And if you can hear, I sound very airy and breathy. That's why I'm leaning a little bit further into the microphone, because my voice is absolutely shot. So apologies for that. But the radical left Democrats have hit pay dirt again, just like with the fake and fully discredited Steele dossier, the lying 51 intelligence agency. Talk about not letting anything die. He will not stop talking about shit. The laptop from hell. Yes, the laptop that had pictures and videos of Hunter Biden naked, doing drugs, having sex with hookers, and having a big penis. That's the laptop from hell, which they spent all of Joe Biden's presidency running on. The whole time, the laptop from hell. Did they ever find anything in that fucking laptop other than Hunter Biden's junk and some drug use? If that's the worst you got, it doesn't sound like the laptop from hell. It just sounds like a bad day for Hunter Biden, but whatever. Which the Dems swore had come from Russia. No, that's a different story, honey. That's something else. No, it came from Hunter Biden's bathroom. Yeah, okay. That's your scandal? And even the Russia scam itself, a totally fake and made up story used in order to hide crooked Hillary Clinton's big loss. By the way, big dog, you talked about locking her up for years. You didn't lock her up. You didn't go after Bill Clinton, all that stuff. No, nothing to do with that. Big loss in the 2016 primary election. These scams and hoaxes are all the Democrats are all good at. And this is the thing. He is now, his excuse is that he's in the fucking files. He's in the Epstein files. But his excuse is that the Democrats wrote it. Yeah, man, Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama put together this Epstein file, and she made sure that Bill Clinton's name was in it too. Yeah, man, that makes a lot of fucking sense. God damn, man. It takes just a moment of thought to discredit everything that he says. And up until this point, the right has bought everything that he's ever given them. Hook, line, and sinker. But now all of a sudden, they're starting to feel like, hey, why aren't you giving us the treats that we want? It seems like you're covering this up. Yeah, no shit. They are no good at governing. Yeah, look who's talking. No good at policy. You mean like Nazi policy? An economic policy that's destroying the dollar around the world? Sure. And no good at picking winning candidates. Well, even though we did vote for that ham sandwich. That was Joe Biden. He did whip your ass in 2020, dog. Trump posted in True Social in the longest, most nonsensical run-on sentence ever. Well, that's just par for the course for Donald. Quote, their new scam is what will forever be called the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. Well, you wish it was called the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. And my past supporters have brought into bullshit. Ooh, he said a dirty word. Oh, folks, look out. Hook, line, and sinker. They haven't learned their lesson and probably never will. So he's now busting his own supporters' chops. He's throwing them under the bus. Even after being conned by lunatic left for 8 long years. Honey, it has not been the left talking about Epstein. It has been right-wing dude bro conspiracy theories and QAnon. All of those people are conservative right-wingers. It is not the left that has been perpetrating this thing. He continued directly attacking those interested in the case as falling for leftist propaganda. I've had more success in 6 months than perhaps any president in our country's history, even Lincoln, even FDR couldn't carry my jockstrap in a suitcase. And all these people want to talk about with strong prodding like the fake news and the success-starved Democrats is the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. Well, it's because you won't release it, man. Just release it. You know, let us be the judge. Let these weaklings continue forward and do the Democratic work. Don't even think about talking about our incredible, unprecedented success. I'm still waiting for that success, man. You know, bigger prison camps? Sure. Because I don't want their support anymore. So now he's telling his base who are mad about not getting to see this Epstein report that he doesn't want their support anymore either. The post is proof that Donald Trump is losing control of his base and getting to him. On Tuesday, he declared that those still interested in the case about the deceased sex criminal are pretty bad people, despite all of Trump's efforts, which have included directly calling MAGA influencers, talking about Epstein and asking them to fall in line. His followers are still talking about how and why the administration suddenly closed the case. Alex Jones, Joe Rogan, Charlie Kirk, and many, many more have attacked the Trump administration and promised they won't let this up. Well, in the last couple of days, that's kind of switched up a little bit. We got Charlie Kirk here.
Done with the matter.
Honestly, I'm done talking about Epstein for the time being. I'm going to trust my friends in the administration. I'm going to trust my friends in the government to do what needs to be done, solve it, balls in their hands. I've said plenty this last week.
Wait, balls in their hands? I think he means balls in their court, but...
Weekend.
Balls in their hands. So, normally twitchy Charlie Kirk is even twitchier still. We've got Megyn Kelly having a conversation with Ben Shapiro, who is happy to run interference for the president. Let's see.
High up in the law enforcement, let's say, I'll just go that far, who say, not only do we believe he was an agent, but we don't believe he killed himself.
I mean, that's fine. And then they should come out and...
By the way, Alex Acosta was one of the people who suggested, and it's on record, suggested that Jeffrey Epstein was an intelligent agent, you know, definitely for Mossad, but possibly for the CIA as well. I mean, that's what this whole thing is about. It's a blackmail ring. Why would Jeffrey Epstein film all of the elites that came to his island? Why would he, if not for blackmail?
They should say that. And then they should say who's covering that up.
Okay, but this is what Ben, they can't. I mean, there are a lot of people who say they can't, right? They can't because let's look at what the administration is saying right now. They don't want to be the one to cross Trump. Look, my position is let's show us all the evidence so we can come to our own conclusions.
I have names of the people. So I agree with you. That's fine. But in the absence of that, I have the names of the people who are making the claim that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself and that the most gross and sort of extreme of the conspiracy theories or theories, just don't even call them conspiracy theories. The most sort of, extreme version of the theory is not true. I have names of the people who are claiming that. Okay, they are all in the administration. And this is my point. If other people want to make those claims that are counter to that, then they should provide evidence or at least put their names on it so we can question them about that as well. Because otherwise we're just in the realm of pure speculation. And frankly, I just don't find that useful. I would love...
Well, I mean, if they've got tens of thousands of hours of recordings, which they've already said that they have, we could release them and we could figure that out there, Ben. We could. But honestly, I don't think that they're really interested in it. Even though, according to Harry Enton on CNN, it's pretty popular Google search for all Americans.
On the numbers, Harry, good to see you.
Nice to see you.
I am wondering, how much interest is there in the so-called Epstein files?
Well, if my buddy Vin from Jersey is any sign, there's a lot of interest. He won't shut up about it, but he's not the only one who won't keep quiet about it. What are we talking about here? Why don't we take a look at Google searches for Jeffrey Epstein? Take a look at this. Today versus a week ago. Up like a rocket, up 1,900%. My goodness gracious. And get this, it is currently the top term topic being searched alongside Donald Trump today. If Donald Trump, who is begging, asking his supporters to drop it, he is not getting his wish whatsoever. His supporters are not dropping it. Interest in this story is at basically an all-time high. And of course, this is such an interesting story because it is one that unites different parts of the far right. It's one of the few stories that actually brings together folks like Steve Bannon and Elon Musk. They all are wondering what the heck is going on here. And at this particular point, Donald Trump has not figured out a way to solve this problem and quell the problem on the right side of his base.
It's very boring. I don't know why anybody's interested in Elite Sex Crimes Incorporated. It seems like a very boring story. Nothing to see here, folks. Nothing to see here. This is an oldie but a goodie. Donald Trump getting interviewed about Ghislaine Maxwell, who, by the way, is offering to come out and talk about this. If anybody knows all the dirty secrets, it would be Maxwell. And here's Donald Trump saying how he feels about old Ghislaine Maxwell, former neighbor of his near Mar-a-Lago. Been to his house many times.
The other day, a reporter asked you about Ghislaine Maxwell. You said, quote, "I just wish her well, frankly. I've met her numerous times over the years, especially since I lived in Palm Beach, but I wish her well, whatever it is." Mr. President, Ghislaine Maxwell has been arrested on allegations of child sex trafficking. Why would you wish such a person well?
I don't know that, but I do know that
she has. She's been arrested for that. You know that.
Her friend or boyfriend,
Epstein,
was either killed or committed suicide in jail. She's now
in a federal jail under your watch as president, Mr. Trump.
in jail. Yeah, I wish you well. I'd wish you well. I'd wish a lot of people well. Good luck.
Come on, man. You wish a lot of people well. You are notorious not wishing well kind of guy. You have nothing but just derision and anger and vitriol for everybody, man. You are one of the biggest haters I've ever seen. You don't wish people well, but the one person that you do wish well was arrested for helping Jeffrey Epstein procure young women to have sex with him and a whole bunch of rich elite people. That's the one you wish well.
Prove somebody was guilty. I mean, you do know that.
Oh, so you're saying you hope she doesn't die in jail? Is that what you mean by wish her well?
Her boyfriend died in jail, and people are still trying to figure out, how did it happen? Was it suicide? Was he killed? And I do wish her well. I'm not looking for anything bad for her. I'm not looking bad for anybody. And they took that and
I mean, she's a child, alleged child.
Maybe Rosie O'Donnell.
But all it is her boyfriend died. He died in jail. Was he killed? Was it suicide? I do. I wish her well.
Was he killed? Was it suicide? I do. Please stop talking about this. Please let it go. Let it die. Let's see here. Look at the split of Trump's base over the Epstein files. The handling of sex offender Jeffrey Epstein case continues to roil the MAGA world after repeatedly claiming that there were scandalous criminal details about Epstein being hidden from the public. Some of those same people are now saying that there's nothing to see. But key figures from the president's base allege that a cover-up continues. William Branham, the handling of the disgraced sex offender Jeffrey Epstein case continues to roil the MAGA world after repeatedly claiming there were scandals, yada yada. Leading the charge is far-right activist and conspiracy theorist Laura Loomer, who, my favorite factoid about her, chained herself to the front door of Twitter back when it was still Twitter before Elon Musk wrecked it. She is now in the inner circles of the right wing. She told Politico that there should be a special counsel appointed to the Epstein case. Attorney General Pam Bondi, FBI Director Kash Patel, and Deputy Director Dan Bongino have each stoked ominous conspiracy theories about what's referred to as the Epstein files, allegedly a secret list of powerful people who had connections to Epstein. But Patel, once he became FBI director, tried to temper those expectations. He killed himself. Stop asking me. He killed himself. Tell him, Dan, he killed himself. I saw it. He killed himself. Can you show us the tape? Well, that tape, well, we'll get it to you. But we'll have to splice together a couple of tapes, and then we'll explain that there's a missing minute because it's missing every night. And that's a good, I mean, if I was a prisoner and I was watching the news, listening to you going, you mean there's a part of every day at midnight the tape goes off? I mean, that would be a good time for me to escape from prison. Jesus Christ. Kash Patel. So on Epstein matter or any other matter, we are diligently working on that, and it takes time to go through years of investigation, years of political maneuvering, years of cover-up to get the American people what they deserve, and that's what I'm going to give them on everything. Except, no, I'm not going to do that because the president told me not to. Oh, God. Laura Ingraham. She was at the Turning Point USA thing. I wish I could find that clip. I looked for it. I couldn't find it, but I saw it a few times. Laura Ingraham is asking the audience, how many of you are satisfied, you can clap, satisfied with the results of the Epstein investigation? And they all booed. They don't know how to follow direction, about clapping, but Laura Ingraham was hoping for a different answer. How many of you are not satisfied with the results of the investigation? Then they all cheered. Ingraham told the crowd there was, quote, some family disagreement between the Attorney General and Dan Bongino. Honey, they're not related. They're just a couple of sycophants that Donald Trump hired because they would be sycophantic for him. Let's see. Hakeem Jeffries, well, he's looking to talk about anything except for Democratic failure. So, I don't really need to listen to his dumb ass. It's not just podcasters that are talking about it now. It's the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson.
Donald Trump accused some of his supporters of falling prey, calling those who are questioning his administration's handling of the Jeffrey Epstein files, quote, weaklings. He went as far as to say that he doesn't want their support anymore as the topic continues to divide his base.
Some stupid Republicans and foolish Republicans fall into the net.
Last week,
you're all
the Department of
stupid.
Justice issued a memo that said Epstein had not been murdered in prison, nor did he have an incriminating client list, contradicting some of the conspiracy theories previously promoted by members of the Trump administration. The memo came months after Attorney General Pam Bondi hyped soon-to-be-released documents and suggested she had the so-called client list on her desk. She has since suggested she was referring to other documents. A growing number of Republicans are pushing for more transparency. On Tuesday, House Speaker Mike Johnson became the highest-ranking Republican to say he wants to see more details about the DOJ's investigation.
We need to put it out there. And you know, Pam Bondi, I don't know, when she originally made the statement, I think she was talking about documents, as I understood it, that were on her desk. I don't know that she was specific about a list or whatever, but she needs to come forward and explain that to everybody.
You heard those two not gay guys talking. They want answers, Donald Trump. They want more information. Epstein fallout poses a loyalty test. Trump or MAGA? Honey, it's all the same thing, but whatever. In the days since the Trump administration released the memo about Jeffrey Epstein directly at odds with conspiracy theorists, pushed by the president and some of his top lieutenants, Trump's movement and most ardent supporters are in revolt. Justice Department FBI released a memo last week concluding that there was no evidence that Epstein had a list of powerful men who participated in his alleged underworld sex trafficking and pedophilia. Yet, all of them said that there were files and mountains of tapes. I guess, was it Obama or Hillary Clinton that got rid of that stuff? Sure. Whatever you say, dog. Yet, after years of big promises to the president's base, the memo failed to produce a smoking gun, undercutting Trump and his team in his own words, and MAGA world isn't happy, putting the president's closest allies against each other.
And since then, the Attorney General has said publicly that there would be more information forthcoming, there would be more files released, promising that, you know, all of the things that the MAGA base has been asking for, that they would get it. And then, of course, last Monday, you saw that extraordinary statement, unsigned statement from the Justice Department saying there was nothing to see here, there was no Epstein list, which is something that she said was on her desk previously. And so there's a lot of anger at the FBI, including Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, about having to own something that they believe the Attorney General caused. And
look, I mean, personally, what I think that this is excuse me, both of those guys are more concerned about their real job being podcasters, that they're afraid that if they don't throw a little temper tantrum right now, then it's going to look bad for all of their followers on their podcast. So when they do go back to podcasting, they will still have some kind of credibility. But it's all a parlor game, folks. I wanted to show you this one. This is, I mentioned earlier, Turning Points USA had a thing in Tampa. That's Charlie Kirk's outfit, who, by the way, you just heard saying he's ready to move on. He trusts his friends at the White House. I mean, if you're going to be a news reporter, you know, maybe not tell me that your friends are in the White House. How are you going to do any news reporting if all of those people that are in power now are your buddies? But, you know, that's just reporter 101 shit. But there was the CNN guy down in Tampa interviewing some of the MAGA faithful at TPUSA, and let's see what they had to say.
Meet the Pod, the intelligent bed cover designed to fit over any mattress and transform your rest. With cutting edge.
Well, while this commercial is running, the idea that you can talk about the Democrats being child predators for all this time, and now when you're just at the cusp of this.
First topic that all of us as Americans, not as Democrats, not as liberals.
When you're at the cusp of this, where all the information is, you know, they say is at the ready, they have this information, they're going to release it to you. Donald Trump says he's going to release it to you. You're going to get all of that information, all that dirt that's been covered up for years and years and years. To now tell them no, this is the kind of response that you get from the MAGA faithful.
As Republicans are actually lining together and saying we all want the Epstein files. And I said, come on, Donald, give us those files.
We are here at the Turning Point USA Summit in Tampa, Florida. It is a big gathering of Trump supporters. And one thing everybody seems to be talking about here this weekend, Jeffrey Epstein.
We need to get to the bottom of Epstein because Epstein is the key that picks the lock.
Let me just ask you, make some noise if you care about the Jeffrey Epstein scandal.
I think they want it.
What do you think is going to happen?
I think they're going to maybe give us pieces and maybe not the whole thing and think that that's going to suffice. And I don't think people are going to be quiet about it until they really do it. But who knows if we'll ever know the true story.
Can Trump just say, look, release everything?
If you know anything about him, he can do and say whatever he wants. Do they have to listen? I don't know the legalities of that or the policies and procedures.
This is Turning Point USA's Student Action Summit. It's an event aimed at mobilizing young conservatives. Ultimately, I mean, how bad do you think it would be for the MAGA movement, for young people's trust in Trump if by the end of...
Sorry, just checking out this kid's drip. He's doing his best blue suit, red tie, Donald Trump look. Oh man, this poor kid. You have been led astray, honey. Come back to reality.
His term, they don't release everything they know about Epstein.
Well, I think that if they don't release the Epstein files, whatever J.D. Vance says then is irrelevant because it's like everybody's going to take it as like a...
That's very true. J.D. Vance is not differentiating himself with Donald Trump. J.D. Vance is parroting all of Donald Trump's talking points about this Epstein situation. So if you think JD's pants, couch fucker himself, is going to be the dark horse in the running for president in 2028, probably not, honey. Probably not.
Lie because of what Donald Trump did. But I think J.D. Vance wants these files released as well. And I think that Donald Trump, he promised them, so he needs to do it. No matter who's on them, we need to release the Epstein files.
Because right now the whole debate's about Bongino versus Bondi, but ultimately it's Trump's decision, right? I mean,
that's the funny thing is that the base was already giving Donald Trump an out. You know, they were willing to throw Pam Bondi under the bus. They, at the beginning of all this last week, you hear all of the right-wing pundits and a lot of people from the base saying it's Pam Bondi's fault. Of course, none of them will ever point their ire at the guy who was best friends with Epstein for decades, lived down the street from him, partied with him. Those two, I heard recordings from the Fire and Fury recordings of Jeffrey Epstein, how, I don't know, he said that he had 100 hours of interviews with Jeffrey Epstein. I heard some of the recordings, and Jeffrey Epstein's like, we've been friends for decades. We used to run this cuck trick on all of our friends so we could sleep with their wives. Donald Trump famously said that Jeffrey Epstein is a good friend of mine, and he likes beautiful young women as much as I do, and some of them are on the younger side. But they will not point that finger at Trump. They are willing to give him a pass. So they kept saying, it's Pam Bondi's fault. She lied to us. Throw her under the bus. And they were giving Donald Trump an out, but for some reason, Donald Trump is very loyal to her and defended her. And now this story that probably could have been swept under the rug for another couple of years, it's stinking to high heaven, and he cannot shut him up. The whole Streisand effect of it all, nothing to see here. Now, all of a sudden, everybody knows where Barbara's house is. It's right next to Jeffrey Epstein's, obviously.
He has the power.
It's Trump's decision. It's Trump's decision. I think again, and I'm not going to make the decision for the president. It's not my job. It's not my place. But I do think the way that I'm seeing it played out is that Bongino will be here and Pam Bondi will be the fall guy.
You think that's fair?
I don't think anything's fair in politics.
Anyway, let's see here. Got a little bit more. Alex Jones. Alex Jones, after the story broke last week, was famously, he's famously a conspiracy theorist. He's probably the king of conspiracy theory. You know, Joe Rogan, you think is Mr. Conspiracy. He got all of it from Alex Jones, Mr. InfoWars here. And after the story broke about Epstein last week, Alex Jones was doing a, old man in car video, crying. He was literally crying about this, saying he was sick to his stomach and he was going to throw up. Well, a couple of days later, he has found his topic. He's found his talking point to spare Donald Trump this. And of course, it's blame shift to the Democrats.
Doesn't exist. But then Trump comes out last night and says, well, it does exist, but the Democrats had control of it, manipulated it, which is actually true. They've had control, but they would destroy anything they didn't want in there and leave what they wanted in there. And then Trump wants it closed. He wants it shut down, which looks extremely incriminating. But from all of my deep research, never saw Trump involved in any illegal activity with Jeffrey Epstein.
All your deep research. Come on, man. What the fuck are we talking about? It takes a Google search and you could find a photo of Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein together with Ghislaine Maxwell, with Melania, Trump's new wife, who he first had sex with on the Lolita Express, according to Jeffrey Epstein himself. I have it in my research. God, that hurts my voice. I have it in my research. Been able to find anything that connects the two of them together. What the fuck are you talking about, you bald-headed psycho?
So we are simply here tracking this case, not choosing a side, not
picking my nose
to make things be what we want them to be.
Talk about trying to make something the way you want it to be. You are literally twisting yourself in a pretzel right here on camera for all of us to see. You trying to make this story into what you want it to be. It's all Democrats. Trump has got nothing to do with it.
Simply looking at the facts, but I dropped the ball. I didn't even think about the fact. I'm like, oh yeah, if they've had the list and they've had the files for years, the Democrats would take stuff out and destroy it. Well, that's obvious. They would leave in and twist and put in what they wanted.
Give me a fucking break, man. Jesus Christ. Here's Alex Jones again. This is earlier today, doing one of his sad old man in car videos.
On the tarmac with Lutnick, Trump's chief economic advisor, you just saw Trump double down like he did last week and say nobody's been looking into Epstein. Why would anybody want to know about that? I don't know. Bill Gates and Bill Clinton and Steve Jobs' wife and all these other world leaders going.
By the way, I was talking to somebody about this earlier today. This is something that Republicans and Democrats can all get together on. This is not a right or left issue. This is a wealthy elite versus the rest of us issue. We just saw fucking Diddy get off. He was diddling around and we all saw it. We saw the tape where him beating the shit out of this woman, dragging her back into an orgy she was desperately trying to get away from. Yet he will get a slap on the wrist, pay a fine, maybe do a couple of months in a minimum security white collar prison, and then he will move on with his life. Elites get away with fucking everything, and the rest of us see us. So if we, as the regular common folk citizens, could all come together on this one thing, maybe we could begin to heal the process. This is not a right and left divide. This is a rich, elite, corrupt group of oligarchs that are only as loyal as their options. And since they're billionaires, they have all of the options versus the rest of us who have no options. But yeah, man, he's right about one thing. Donald Trump saying that this is a boring story, not interesting. Oh, and yet again, by the way, I will start off the blame game here for you out there, Republicans. Bill Clinton absolutely in this fucking file. Bill Clinton absolutely diddled young girls. Bill Clinton should be thrown in jail, but Donald Trump was in on it too, man. They all flew on the plane. They were all buds. There is literally a picture of Ghislaine Maxwell in an aisle seat at Chelsea fucking Clinton's wedding. She was given a spot of honor at this elite wedding, which, by the way, Donald Trump and the Clintons, before he was president, they were buds too. They were friends. He used to go to their fundraisers and hang out with them. This is all so fucking incestuous. It's not just a right and left thing, y'all.
This island where there's underage kids and all the Mossad connections and the Israeli prime minister secretly getting caught over and over again.
Ehud Barak was former prime minister to Israel, notoriously known as a guy who went in, was seen at Epstein's mansion in New York City numerous times.
Going to his New York lair and Zorro Ranch and all the rest of it. Why would anybody want to know about that? You made it a major campaign issue, and your surrogates did, to bring all this out. That's why. And so then you say it doesn't exist last week, and you're the person behind it telling people to stop.
While you're watching this, he seems to be pointing the finger at Donald Trump. I'd say give him 90 more seconds, and it will be back on the Democrats, and they're all pedophile elites. Watch. 90 seconds that's all it will take.
Covering it. Then your surrogates all get in trouble, try to fall on their swords. Then you come out yesterday through Laura Trump and then yourself again at a press conference and say, yeah, go ahead and release anything Pam Bondi's got. And then now you say, I don't know why anybody want to look into this. Then on top of that, we now know that the video, the supposed proof that he committed suicide that's around a corner, can't even see his cell bay, has been heavily edited, not just a missing minute, but almost 3 minutes and a bunch of edit points with the metadata. Independent groups have looked at it. We've looked at it. It's true. And I'm just like, my God, Trump, you're not stupid. You couldn't come up with a plan better to discredit yourself and to get the Democrats to have congressional hearings and do all this stuff. Yes, we know the Democrats have control of the file. Yes, we know they obviously cut themselves out of it. That's all true. But
no, it's not.
Tell people nothing to see here. Move on. It's called the mother of all strife.
Honey, the original case that put Epstein in jail happened in 2007 under George W. Bush and Pam Bondi and Alex Acosta. So this was before Barack Obama was even president. What are you talking about?
Streisand effects in Trump. I know you know what the Streisand effect is. In case you don't, you need to look into it. That's why Laura Trump, everybody else is backpedaling. It's why I've heard from DOJ sources that indeed you guys are looking at a special counsel. Good. Do the special counsel. Have them investigate it. We know you just got the stuff back in March. The Democrats were hiding it in New York. That's their problem. And of course, it's all stuff they cooked up or whatever, like they've done with Russiagate and the rest of it. But running away from it makes it only that much worse. Obviously, people came to Elon a few months ago and told him this was going on. He got scared, distanced himself.
Honey, this is a case of tell me you're in the Epstein file without telling me you're in the Epstein file. Nothing to see here, folks. Don't look here. Look away. Pam Bondi's got this. She's absolutely right. I gave her an order. Close this thing down because it's all fake news. The liberals did it. Hillary Clinton, crooked Hillary. She put me in the file right next to her husband. Why would she do that? I don't know. Maybe she hates her husband as much as she hates me. Who knows? Who's to say?
And I'm getting really concerned here at this point because the flip-flopping and the 180ing and the going back is just the biggest train wreck I've ever seen. And it's not in character for you to be acting like this. So we want your to see.
It's not in character for Donald Trump to lie his fucking ass off. Come on, man. Give me a fucking break.
Deep research never saw you involved with Epstein and criminal activity. So why are you acting like this? You made a deal with the establishment to leave you alone. Have they rolled over? U.S. intelligence we know is involved. Mossad, CIA, MI6. We already know that. But instead, you just continue to say nothing to see here, move along. Though, go ahead and release the information, but there's no information to release. Contradiction for contradiction, flip-flopping into flip-flopping. 180.
Welcome to the Democratic world, honey, where we have been watching Donald Trump flip-flop and lie his ass off relentlessly. Look, Alex Jones is not an idiot. I mean, he's well, okay, maybe he is an idiot. But I think he only pretends to be an idiot. And to pretend like this is not Donald Trump's MO, it just so happens that now it's landing on your front door and you don't know what to do with it. You're desperately trying to find a way to defend him and blame the Democrats for this. But Donald Trump is not giving you an easy out. He's making himself look more and more guilty. Honestly, we don't need to see that ugly mug anymore. We don't need to see that either. Just go back to me here. But the MAGA and the right wing they're losing their shit, man. They do not know what way is up. They don't know what talking point to go on. Donald Trump is constantly changing the narrative. Of course, he just wants to call everything fake news. And up until this point, he has been able to just say fake news and his people believe it. But now it's getting so obvious watching his supporters, not be able to just land on the fake news thing with him. It's like, but wait, but you've been telling us this thing for such a long time. The elite pedos, and you're going to go out and get them. And, you've been infiltrating it and then you're going to expose them. I mean, he didn't expose them in his first term. The only thing that happened in regards to Epstein was Epstein dying in a federal prison under his watch. But now that promises made, promises not kept. Sorry, folks, not going to keep this promise. Little bit too close to home. There's a lot of fake stuff going on there, just like Russia, folks. Anyway, the meltdown is spectacular. Everything in the country seems to be turning to shit, including this. But for God's sakes, we needed something to laugh at. And watching MAGA tear itself apart over this, is this going to be the thing that breaks it down, that brings Donald Trump down to, the 20% approval rating era? I don't know. I want it to be. I want some. I mean, we've been watching Teflon Don for a decade now. Do all kinds of dastardly shit, lie his fucking ass off for everything, and yet he gets away with it. He keeps getting away with it. This is the first time I've ever seen his base split like this. It's pretty impressive. But is this the thing that's going to do it? I tend to think no. After seeing some of the talking heads like Ben Shapiro and Charlie Kirk and Alex Jones, after seeing them fall in line behind Donald Trump and, start to echo his talking points of the list is out there, but it's a fake list because of Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden and Barack Obama. Come on, man, Barack Obama. He didn't have anything to do with this shit, but whatever. Watching MAGA turn on him it's somewhat heartening, and I hope that this is the thing, but I have a feeling that his MAGA base will never go. A lot of them are just too far gone. Donald Trump isn't just the president. He's a conduit for Jesus. He is a prophet sent down from on high. He is the imperfect vessel that God picked to lead us out of all of the terribleness that is in our country by making it worse. And that old talking point of, well, things can't get worse. Honey, things can always get worse. But is this going to be the thing that breaks up the MAGA base? I still don't think so, but it is fun to watch. Anyway, that's the show for the day, folks. I hope you have a good one. I hope that I entertained you in some way. And if you wouldn't mind, please, liking and subscribing. I would really appreciate that. It doesn't cost you anything, and it means the world to me. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will catch you next time. You take care. Bye-bye. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, please like and subscribe. Keep rocking.